On this week's episode of Make It with Calvin, I'll show you guys how to put together the GoPro rig. So let's talk about it. Okay, when I designed the GoPro rig, as you guys know from the other video, I tried to make it as basic as possible. And I also did this so that way it would be easy for somebody at home to build it themselves. One of the key features of this is the fact that everything on here except for the fasteners and the O-rings is 3D printed, and all the mounting equipment is standard 1/4-inch hardware, which you can buy at really any hardware store. For those of you living in countries that use metric, I am going to make a model that uses metric hardware for these guys, so that way the fit should be fine. So let's get started building it. Okay, so now that you have your parts printed, obviously you will need the 3D printed parts, which are right here. You're going to need some O-rings. These are 70A diameter black, 3/4 inside diameter, 7/8 outside diameter, 1/16 inch width O-rings. I got this as a pack of 100 off Amazon. I mean, it's cheap to buy them in bulk, so you might as well. Also, you're going to need adhesive. In this case, I'm using Gorilla Glue because I don't have any more super glue, which I wouldn't recommend because it's pretty brittle, and I don't have any 5-minute epoxy. Also, you're going to need 4 1/4x20 nuts that are about 1 inch to 1 1.25 inches long, 4 1/4x1/4 inch washers, and 4 1/4 inch nuts. So the first step will be we're going to need to glue the nuts into the handles. When it comes to the adhesive, if you notice that there's a little bit of foaming, if you're using a product like Gorilla Glue like I am, you can come along with an X-Acto knife and just clean out the holes. And if it becomes a major problem afterwards, you can clean the hole out with a drill bit and things should be fine. So when it comes to putting the O-rings on, I personally chose not to glue them in place, just on the off chance that an O-ring got damaged for whatever reason. It's very easy to replace them. And honestly, I haven't really had any problems with them, and really at the end of the day, they're just there to provide some traction and grip versus a straight plastic handle, which is really nice. Final assembly is pretty simple. You might need a screwdriver or a nut driver or an Allen wrench, depending upon what style of fasteners you are using. But make sure when you're assembling it that you don't crank the hardware down too tight. As of the time of filming, the Gorilla Glue was a little bit soft, so I didn't crank everything down, but it was definitely rigid. And if you ever need to, you can adjust things in the field, but I think it should be fine. If you're really paranoid about it falling apart, you could always come along and glue the hardware in place with something like Loctite, but pretty much at that point you have fused everything together, and I really don't think that is necessary. So I hope you guys enjoyed learning how to put together the little GoPro rig, and please post up down below various uses that you've come up for it. And obviously be careful when you're using this. It is 3D printed and it's not designed to be an extreme sports action rig, but at the same time, I don't see why you couldn't, use it for day-to-day filming, chasing the kids around the park, maybe try it out in the water. Maybe at some point I'll be able to actually go somewhere that won't freeze me to death and try this out underwater, but we'll see. Not holding my breath on that one. See you guys next time.